Hello Internet, I'm Beanuts, and today I'd like to follow up on something I said in the previous video, and that you're probably going to ask, why Brony? The answer to the question, why would a grown man, or a teenager, or anyone who is not a 6 to 10-year-old girl want to watch My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, is actually quite simple. It's passion. To elucidate, what I mean by passion is the passion of the creators and the crew and the people who were working on the show, which gets translated into the program, creating relatable, interesting characters and stories, just like in, say, Gravity Falls, or Steven Universe, or Phineas and Ferb and Milo Murphy's Law. That these characters and stories are interesting and entertaining is the cornerstone and the central reason why anyone would want to read or watch them. Of course, if you were judging Friendship is Magic, which I will now refer to from here on out as FIM or FIM, based on the previous iterations of My Little Pony, I would not blame you for thinking that these are simply for little girls, especially the immediate direct iteration, the G3 and 3.5 in particular, where the audiences seem to be getting narrower and narrower, and it was getting simpler to the point of being absolute garbage that I would not show to my dog because it might melt your brain. And that's something that even happened during the Halloween special Bronies React, which I watched, which is part of the reason why I'm even aware of those old iterations. The other reason why I'm aware of the previous generation's My Little Pony is because of Saberspark's fantastic documentary, The Brony Chronicles, which covers the history of My Little Pony, both as a show and as a toy line, as well as the rise and reasons behind the Brony fandom. Even though it's been a few years since he made the documentary, I still believe it is the best and foremost documentary on Bronies and FIM as a whole. And if you want, I will include a link down in the description. If you have a few hours and nothing else to do, you can give it a watch. You will find it very interesting. If your dislike of FIM comes from your interactions with some of the more evangelical or weird members of the community, sorry, kind of. It's unfortunate that you had these interactions and that they poisoned your experience of it. It is a good show, but I won't tell you that you have to watch it. If you haven't given it a try and you would like a recommendation that won't take up too much of your time, let you see what it's like, what they can do with the show, I will give you a recommendation at the end of this video. If not, well, that's completely up to you. Returning to the subject of creator passion, however, Lauren Faust, who also did storyboarding on Powerpuff Girls, the original, not the reboot, and she worked with her husband on Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, she created FIM as a way to bring back the franchise, but also to complete the kind of adventure story arcs that she imagined when she was a child playing with those toys. And if you want to hear more about that, again, watch Saberspark's documentary. What I will tell you is that she aimed to create something that would be family friendly, so that parents could watch with their kids and not want to shoot themselves in the head while doing so. And this created something that had more interesting, more entertaining characters and stories, things that were more relatable, as well as parental bonuses, jokes and references that would most likely go over children's heads, but which adults could get, such as references to The Shining, or I Love Lucy, or Batman, Spider-Man, other sorts of things like that, which other viewers outside of little girls would appreciate. Now, not every episode or every character was written as perfectly as it could be. However, the entire staff did their best in order to create something that people would watch and enjoy on all fronts. So the music, the background music, because there's also singing music, which is also generally great. The voice acting, which is so good that even when one voice actor, such as Ashley Ball, does the voice of two characters, and a lot of them do multiple characters as well, you can tell who they are by their cadence and tones. So you close your eyes, you know who's talking. In other shows, sometimes you have trouble doing that, so you have to actually be seeing whose mouth is moving in order to get that. With FIM, there's no problem getting that at all, so it's really well done, as is the animation, despite it being Flash and despite how finicky the animation can be. And the fact that the characters are all undersized cartoon multicolored horses who do magic definitely does not work against it. At times I even forget that they're ponies and treat them as if they were human characters because they're so relatable and interesting. And part of the aspect that helps to do that is the characters' faces, because they're much more human-like than horse-like. And that helps viewers to appreciate them more. On top of the show itself, the Brony community is one that's warm and welcoming, crazy creative, and all around awesome. Because all the things that I have seen it create, videos, music, art, fan fiction as well, everything that comes out of the community is incredibly creative, and while not all of them are entirely unique from each other, do come up with some pretty crazy things. For the most part, they're things that one could share with everyone. However, just like every other fandom, Bronies do have the crazy ones as well. Luckily for all the crazy in the Brony community, there's a kind of warmth that I think you would be hard-pressed to find anywhere else. Go to a Brony convention and you'll be easily welcomed. Even if on the internet you just say that you're joining the herd, someone will give you a brohoof and they'll welcome you to the fandom straight away. No credentials required, nothing at all. And you can pretty much go crazy of whatever level of the fandom you would like to. You can be casual like me, or you can be a cosplayer who goes to all of the conventions. And then there's the analyst community, also dubbed the Rift Cafe. And all these people, some of these people, like to collaborate together, and it's through the fandom that they met each other and became such great friends in real life. And that's something that I'm not sure many other fandoms have these days. To top all of that off, the fact that we have YouTubers who dedicate their entire channels to analyzing and reacting to aspects that come out in the episodes of the show, it all means that we take things seriously enough to even discuss them. And that's not something that you would get from most little girls' shows. The fact that we take these things seriously enough to think about what the show is saying, and to think about the different aspects and lore within the show. that says a lot about the caliber of the show, the writing, characters, and everything else within them. So that's a huge draw as to why older men, as well as older women, are bronies and Pegasisters. Before I end things off, I'd like to tell you about how I got into it, because that's also a story that some people might ask about. I was at Yu-Gi-Oh! Card Creator, the website, and there I used to make all these different cards based on popular culture. I made one based on Lord of the Rings and Gundam, Marvel. I did one based on SAO and Excel World. So I had all these decks made up, and people kept posting pony sets, and I kept thinking to myself, there's just no way undersized horses could stand against even basic units. But then I thought to myself again, I'm passing judgment on them without actually seeing what they can do, and that's not fair. My first source, when I want to check something out but I don't know whether or not I'm going to like it, is TV tropes. And when I went there and looked up My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, I found tropes that I weren't expecting, to say the least. I wasn't expecting moments of funny, moments of awesome. I wasn't expecting to find all this behind concepts and everything else, to find such deep lore. And because it was so interesting, I then came here to YouTube. And what I expected to find there were 2-minute long clips from the show, and from there I could look up the episodes themselves elsewhere. Fortunately, at that time, Hasbro was cool with having full episodes online on YouTube. And so I started watching from the pilot episode, and almost right when Nightmare Moon appeared, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. This is actually kind of cool. And so I said, I'll watch another episode, and another. And it took me in that way because I kept watching until I caught up to the episodes which were airing, which was A Canterlot Wedding, the season 2 finale. And then afterwards I had to wait for the next season to come out. And while I was waiting, I found other videos related to it. I found the Screw Attack Death Paddle between Starscream and Rainbow Dash. I found Brony's React, and I found some music videos that were out at that time, as well as some fan animations. And it was all remarkable to me that people could come up with these things and create these things. And so, because I'm not all that artistic myself, I found my way over to film fiction and started to come up with ideas for things which I could write about within the world of FIM. And so, well, there we go. Now I'm a fan. We're into the 7th season of FIM. We've had 3 Equestria Girls movies, and there's a pony movie coming up. Actual pony, not EQG. And I think season 8 has also been confirmed, so this is still going. My opinion as to seasons and specific episodes I'll talk about later, though not right now, as I think this video has gone on pretty much long enough. I would like to quickly mention before I end the video that because Hasbro found out about the Brony fandom and its support for the show and merchandise, the entire path for FIM changed absolutely significantly because of this fandom. Without them, without the Bronies, the show would have ended with the return of Harmony as a TV special. instead, The Return of Harmony became the Season 2 premiere. And as I said, we're now several years later, and whereas G1 only went for one season, and G2 half, and G3 was direct to video, the fact that this is still ongoing means that a lot of people are liking and enjoying it. And while your mileage will likely vary, you can say that, well, if all these people aren't onto something, then, you know, it's still something that some people will enjoy. And again, your mileage is going to vary. So if you're willing to give FIM a look and a fair chance, all I can ask of you is that you do so with an open mind. If not, that's your choice, and you're free to make those choices. Just know that it's really not worth wasting anyone's time or effort in simply blasting a thing, whether or not you've seen it. Your judgment is up to you. You're free to it. If you are willing to give it a shot, even if it's just one episode, I can recommend Season 2, Episode 3. It's called Lesson 0, and it has a great introduction to the characters. It's not overly involved, and it just goes far enough in showing, even that early on in the series, the ways that the staff could go far enough off the beaten path for an animation. And again, animations isn't for everyone, but you know, this is one which I believe many people can enjoy. So there you have it. A not quite quick video about why people who are not little girls like My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, and enjoy watching it, as well as the story of how I got into the fandom myself. So thank you all for joining me and watching me. I hope you did enjoy the video. If you don't enjoy the show, that's up to you. That's perfectly your choice. And even if you don't like it, I hope you will continue to watch and enjoy my other content. So thank you all for joining me. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.